Call the spaceships to Davenport, prepare for Divanarchy, and interface with a couch in space. It's Space Couch time once again. And once again, we are coming to you from our present, but it is your past. Space gets weird, y'all. We did some black hole stuff, and just parsecs were involved. The unit of distance, not measurement, Star Wars. I'm looking at you. But, it's space. So international waters, as we like to say in this show, there are no rules. But you know what does rule are the selections out now from our advertiser this week. Brand new, as always, Tiger Squawk records you want to check out from Ireland. Chaos Tracers, Synaptic Breakdown, great stuff. Beta Virus's I Go to Fight remixes. Book of Brimstone from Science Fiction. He's just been on fire lately. Sega Lugosi, a.k.a. Caustic, has 2 singles out. Ludo's Lex, the new project from Pill Brigade, is really great. Raven Industry from Duckbag TM. You'll want to check out the Funkerfolk remix of the Gothsicles Red Panda Jamboree. Anhedonia from Elias Synesthesia. And, of course, In the Company of Crows from Circles. Spare Parts, the new single from Pill Brigade. And that's all. On Tiger Squawk versus Cop International. We did it. Smoldering Embers of Aggression dropped their debut. It's amazing. Remixes from Gasoline and Vertebrate, Assemblage 23. Amazing original compositions and all that. And you can get that at the Tiger Squawk Records Bandcamp. Speaking of... Is this going to work? There we go. Speaking of bands, we are over the moon, pun semi-intended, to talk to our guest tonight. Or today. I can't tell because, there is no sunset, but there is a horizon out here in space. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome our guests. Giant monsters on the horizon. What's going on, guys?
Hey, what's up?
Awesome.
We're doing all right.
Awesome. Well, thank you for joining us all the way there on our Earth, beaming the signal out here into the furthest reaches of the solar system. I think it's the solar system. I don't know. It's been on autopilot for a while. But let's fill up the memory banks here with some amazing giant monsters on the horizon knowledge. We'll start at the start, high level. Describe unto me your sound and give me sort of your ethos or gestalt, as we like to say on this show.
Cool.
Maddie?
Here's my elevator pitch on us is we're like 1 part electro, right? 1 part EBM and future pop, a little dash of like Miami bass, and you just stir that in a pot full of existential reckoning, and that's what you got.
I love it.
Basically, our music is like the sound of society fighting itself.
I love it.
And that's what we like. You know?
All right. Yeah. I mean, this is the first reference to Miami bass here on Space Couch, so that's just dope. I've been interested in what we call superhero origin story stuff here on Space Couch. Like, um, like a Tommy Lee was drumming on pots and pans when he was 4 or something like that. I'm curious as to how that transposes to electronic music. So for you guys, where do you first remember that inkling of electronic or industrial, if you want to get that pointed with it happening for you, or maybe even for Giant Monsters as a whole?
Well, Vinny was bit by a radioactive spider, so no, go ahead, Vinny.
He was
Go.
bit
No,
crushed
actually,
by.
I don't know. It was started, I guess you could say, in high school, way back when, and um, I was listening to a lot of the new wave stuff that everybody was listening to, and then I turned to a friend of mine by the name of Al. I said, at the time, since it was high school, what instrument should I learn? What should I figure out? And Al, of course, he said to me, if you don't know one by now, it's probably too late. But I spoke with a music teacher who said, well, math, computers. Take a look at what you could do with a computer hooked up to a synthesizer, and it just blew my mind what you could do.
Oh wow, that is an extra nerdy route to electronic music.
Absolutely. I took years of music theory before I even knew how to play a single instrument.
That's awesome.
But then, after that, I guess you could say, and it's kind of funny because I didn't know Bauhaus until 1993.
Okay.
That's embarrassing. That's me cashing in my goth card right there.
Stop.
But it was 1992 Lollapalooza. And I remember after Ice Cube was playing, I turned to a friend of mine named Eddie saying, let's get closer so that when the Red Hot Chili Peppers are on, we could be there. Of course, the band in between Ice Cube and the Red Hot Chili Peppers was Ministry.
Oh, awesome.
And I remember them from Every Day is Halloween. Not anything like the current sound that they had in 1992. And after being stuck in a mosh pit there, I kind of traded in the penny loafers within a couple of weeks for Doc Martens, and kind of took it from there.
Awesome, I love it. That's such a good origin story, like random acts of ministry.
Yes, and then eventually, I spent a lot of my 20s and such in Tampa, Florida, before moving up here to St. Louis, Missouri, where I first met Madison. But the funny thing is, Madison is from the Fort Lauderdale, Miami area. And she and I have been to a number of different concerts down in Florida before we even met each other.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
We had mutual friends where when we eventually did meet each other, it was a whole lot of, this person? Sure. A few years ago, they fell off of my trampoline in my backyard. I went to this club with this person.
Oh,
so
it
was a lot of us knowing the same people, being in the same place at the same time, and just never making it happen in Florida. So,
but the magic was in full effect in St. Louis. Like all those magic use rules came up nat 20 for Giant Monsters on the Horizon. After regrouping in the Midwest. Awesome. Well, smash cut to the present. 2021 has seen the release of some singles, two of which feature Kara Arista of West End Junction, and the middle one, those are the ends, and the middle one you'll see here, or here, I guess, will be from Bonnie Marie, or Marie of
Bonnie Marie.
Wonderland. Thank you. So check out the new singles from Giant Monsters on the Horizon.
Near the water, she was waiting on the edge of town. On the edge of town. So
heard a ton of new tracks, all of which are available now at Giant Monsters on the Horizon, one word, .bandcamp.com. Can you tell us about On the Edge of Town and the other two tracks we heard small snippets of?
Sure. Yeah, so we've kind of switched to a more single a month type of release. And we were doing full albums previously, but the internet has a very short memory. And so it's important to constantly be putting out content so you're not forgotten. And so we've switched to that. And one of the things that we found with putting out singles that aren't necessarily related to an album or to each other is it doesn't matter the song that we released yesterday. It has no bearing on what the sound that we're working on today is. So it's kind of freeing in that aspect where we don't have to write a whole bunch of stuff that kind of goes together and fits on an album. It's all these individual type of unique experiences. So it's been cool.
This is cool.
Yeah, this is us turning into I guess you could say our Timbaland phase, because let's face it, we were originally doing the whole idea of putting together the album, getting into a show to support the album, putting on the next album, just kind of rotating back and forth. And well, let's face it, with 2020, what happened to the planet, that, makes it a little different than the before times, if you will. We have to come up with a new model. And to me, this is kind of opening up a number of different things for us, because we're finding that we're actually doing a great job working with these different vocalists of completely different genres as well. Meeting Kara Ristow from West End Junction, she does primarily acoustic work, herself on piano, her husband on guitar, and they do that sort of coffee shop kind of sound.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, you take what she's doing and you plop it into the middle of this electro sound, and it's something completely different.
Yeah. Yeah, she adds a lot of soul coming from the folk side of things to our like beeps and boops, and it's a good recipe that we've come up with for creating something that we've never been able to create before.
Yeah, it's cool. It's like there's this like it's like this little, like, I don't know, like a fentanyl molecule or something latched onto your thing that just sort of kicks it to this other dimension. Like, oh, wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. And Bonnie Marie, she has a background in like stage musicals.
Oh, wow.
So
okay.
she brings a lot of this avant-garde type of atmosphere.
A lot
to
of
our tracks.
range then, both metaphorically and literally in vocal world.
Oh, yeah.
That's awesome. I'm glad you brought that up, because I've been thinking about your model. Like, I released an album earlier this year called Animal Songs. Or was it last year? Who can even tell? It was all songs about animals, so the connective tissue is super duper strong there. But
Sure.
a lot of times when I'm writing an album, I go like, okay, this song sounds a little bit like that song, so I got to put them like 3 tracks apart on the track list, or totally. I've gotten too dark on this album. Let's do a song about ice hockey, the Nintendo game. But I had not considered that just completely doing away with all connective tissue is sort of almost a fringe benefit of the monthly release of a single. That's pretty cool.
It's kind of freeing,
Do you find that there's a cost to that, like emotionally? Like, do people not take a single as seriously as an album or something like that? Or is it just fine?
It's so hard to say.
Right.
It's really hard to say, because we were really thematic on our previous album releases. It was all songs that kind of took place in the same world. And it was kind of hit or miss, Some people were really into it. Some people were just kind of, not getting it. With the singles, it seems still kind of hit or miss, but like on such a smaller scale that it seems less noticeable, I think.
We
Okay.
could get to be a little bit more experimental.
Oh, yeah.
I came up when, let's face it, going back to Ministry, as we were saying before,
Right.
how he's also done Revolting Cocks and 1,000 Homo DJs and Let Into Gold, Palehead, all these other different things, Acid Horse. Um, you have Bill Lieb and Rhys Fulber, who are Frontline Assembly, but they're also Delirium and Synesthesia and Noise Unit. So the idea I was thinking is, the style of music we do, it varies in so many different ways. So why not just, put out a song that matches this grouping?
Right.
And maybe we'll get Kara involved in that. And we have one for Bonnie that's actually coming up soon. And then we also have, as a matter of fact, there's one that I just thanks to our good pal Ken Magerman of Sounds and Shadows.
Hey.
Shout out, Ken. How you doing?
Always happy to shout out Ken.
Yeah, thanks to that forum there. I connected with this woman named Arden Lee, who has this band called Arden and the Wolves, and she just did a track for us that's as of this recording right now, coming out midnight tonight,
All
is
right.
going to be hitting the world. So
Well, not only do we have kind of a Space Couch exclusive, I don't want to let your amazing segue go unnoticed. That was an awesome setup.
thanks. I was working on it.
Well done. Smooth. This is a debut, I guess, for me, because you're familiar with the track, because you wrote it, you guys. This will be out by the time you see it in the future on the other side of the wormhole. But I get to hear it now for the first time. So, all right, I guess this is for me. Oh, wait. Yeah, we got to save power out here in space, so the magical Bluetooth controller shuts off after a minute. All right.
In the night, no control. Through the wall, something's breaking. Wearing white as you're walking down the street of my soul. You take my self-control. You got me living only for the night. Before the morning comes, the story's told. You take my self-control. Another night, another day goes by.
That's a good point at which, the remix is going on. That's not a remix you just heard. We were talking about the remix I'm working on for our guest today while you were listening to the song. But, all right, new Giant Monsters on the Horizon album. Played here for the first time. Listened to you. Do whatever you want, man. Time is relative. I don't care. I do want you to listen to that song though eventually because it's great. Get it at giantmonstersonthehorizon.bandcamp.com. So you sort of came into my world line for this tour that didn't happen, and I messaged you, Vinny, in a panic, like, "Hi, we've never met before. Facebook says we have 1,000 friends in common. I'm not an axe murderer. Can I sleep on your couch in 16 seconds?" And you're like, "All right, dope." And it didn't happen, but I would like to get back to St. Louis someday for some gothcycling. How are you? I don't have a lot of experience with your town. How are you finding this locality in general as a base of operations for monsters, or just like for industrial music in general?
I would say it's a great little town. There's a number of really good people to connect with. Admittedly, live music has kind of taken a hit everywhere across the
Right.
board. But the wonderful thing also about St. Louis is not only do you have places like the Crack Fox out there,
Shout out to Crack
Carrie,
Fox. Shout out to
Right.
Carrie.
but you're also within 4 to 5 hours away to Chicago
Yeah.
and to Kansas City and to Memphis and Nashville and even a little bit of a drive to Atlanta. But we are in a spot right now where we can bloom pretty heavily with regards to what we're doing
That's
from
really
here
cool.
in St. Louis. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of good people.
Lots of good
Yeah.
bands come through. Like when I'd never had the opportunity, but once I started touring, it was like the place to hit because it's geographically so well situated.
Yeah, it gives you a good distance from everything here, and that's one of the things with when you're a regional talent, you want to do what you can in the place you live, but then every so often just kind of move out to this town and get that town and try and hit as many of the different towns along the way. And when I say town, I mean like Chicago is a town.
Never heard of it. Yeah.
Detroit
It's a big
is
town.
town.
Big town.
Big town.
Well, Detroit's a big crumbling mass, but that's my opinion. Do you guys are you getting back out on the road anytime soon, or is that still in the
We're intending
building?
to.
Okay, yeah.
We are intending to.
Understood.
We kind of it's one of those things where we started making one of the big mistakes of like well we're bringing out our own light show with it, and we're bringing out
yeah,
all
it's a
these
lot.
different synthesizers, and it gets to be a lot for two people, and we're just starting to realize, she works with a laptop, I work with a laptop, she has her controllers, I have my controllers. Let's see what we can do to kind of get a little bit more of a stripped down setup, so that this way we can hit the towns a little bit easier.
Be cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, I went on tour with Angel Spit in like 2015, and he built. It looked great in his living room, but having to like reconstruct this like jungle gym of like spider webs and lasers and horror and shit like that. Every
You
night
guys,
was just like, what's that?
You guys played at the Crack Fox that year.
Yeah.
I was there. I saw it.
Oh, awesome!
And
And-
I got a quick little anecdote about that.
Oh, no.
Is you guys were on stage and you had a Newmark Orbit
Yeah,
that you were playing on, and I saw that and I was like, I have to buy one of those.
Oh,
and
nice.
I actually went out and bought one of those because I saw you guys using it. On
Oh,
stage.
that's
really cool.
amazing. Okay, not only did you go out and buy it, you knew what it was. Like, for those of you listening, the Newmark Orbit, it's a hands-free controller that it's a MIDI controller, and it based on its movement in X, Y, in real space. But everybody after every Gossigle show goes, "What's that guy doing? Is he doing anything?" Like, I just have him on stage to play like Tiger handheld LCD games from the late 80s.
Yeah.
Guy real to X-Men.
I kind of get that feedback a little bit sometimes because I use a MIDI fighter, the MIDI Fighter 3D, which has the XY axis type stuff on it
cool.
as well. And sometimes people are like, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, well, if I don't do the things I'm doing on stage, nothing happens. So
Exactly. Exactly.
take that for what it's worth. Oh, you're not even playing, people. But
And Maddie, was I running sound at that show?
Pretty sure you were.
Yeah. Okay.
Awesome.
So there.
Well,
It all comes back full circle.
it almost did. That would have been a sort of a hellacious flight. But
And that was right after we did the remix for Angel Spit as well. So
nice.
We talked to him about that there.
Well,
So
speaking of tracks, and we just heard your wonderful cover coming out soon as we speak, out now as you hear this. But your physical covers, as in album covers, as in drawings, as in on your live album, for example, are dope as fuck. From whence do those come, and might that ever be transmuted into something like a comic book?
Maddie?
well, for some of our covers, we have brought on various artists. One of the artists that we use, his name is Riza. He's over in Indonesia, and he does like the super flat type of cyberpunk type of illustrations, and they are phenomenal.
Totally.
So that was really cool working with him on that. Besides that, we did a lot of the photography ourselves for some of the other album arts. I've been trying my hand at creating a little bit of art myself for the most recent ones. As far as the comic book question, I've been attempting to do a graphic novel for years, and it's just limitation on time is really what it breaks down to.
Yeah.
A lot of times it's like, do we work on more music, or do I, kind of hole up in my room and work on a graphic novel? And a lot of times music wins out. So.
Sure. Well,
And that's why just recently I bought this Words for Pictures by Brian Michael Bendis. Because I figured if I'm going to do something along those lines, since I know that I've bought the book How to Draw Comics the Marvel Way at least 3 or 4 times in my life, buying the book, forgetting where I put it, buying another copy of the book, forgetting where I put it. So I figured, okay, maybe it's meant for me to be a writer. I don't know. I don't know. But, I've always wanted to incorporate those kind of things. I know the band Coheed and Cambria has a comic book that's associated with their music from way back when. And I just always thought that was such a great idea.
Pretty great. Well,
Yeah.
you guys look like such comic book heroes on that one album, the live one. That's where my mind went. I was really excited about the prospect, and perhaps we'll get a graphic novel someday. But no, I get it. Like, you can't just reach into your time bag of holding and be like, here's an hour I wasn't used. Like,
Exactly.
So, I mean, I have all the time in the world because space is infinite. But
Of
from
course,
what I hear,
obviously.
there on terra firma, there's only 24 hours in a day, which seems limiting to me. But I don't make the rules. We were talking a little bit before the show about video games. Let's design giant monsters on the horizon. The video game. Do you see this as like a side-scrolling thing, where like you're exploring St. Louis, or like some sort of esoteric thing where like each album like levels up the units in like a real-time strategy game? Is where does your mind go with the Giant Monsters video game?
Let's picture it as like a side-scrolling bullet hell shooter.
Okay.
Okay.
Right. Metal Slug 2 kind of a thing?
Yeah, like R-Type.
Gotcha. All right. All right. Sweet.
Maybe some music rhythm type of game action in it. So bullet hell. Let's say we've got like a really awesome like 808 cannon.
Awesome.
That just like wrecks space.
Yeah, that's like the bomb thing you get. It just destroys everything on the screen.
Yeah, it turns on the low pass and destroys everything.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe something like that.
I love
That'd
it.
be cool.
I love it. Yeah. Okay. Get like a Crack Fox logo sticker on the wing of the ship.
Of course.
And
You got to.
Cool.
Maybe our ship can be sponsored by like M Audio or something.
Yes. And in like 1942 or like those top-down flying games, you would get the power-ups that would turn your, whatever DC-10 into some like super gnarly space.
Yeah, it'd have like 10 engines.
Right. So like we call those instead of power-ups, they're remixes, right? And like you can drop like an ARP bomb or something. Oh yeah, or maybe there's like the snake gun is like the ARP.
Yeah.
Just making shit
I like
up.
that.
Awesome.
Shoot out some
Let's see.
sine waves.
There you go. Nice.
The enemies
Yeah.
are fascists.
Okay.
Oh yeah, we got to fight fascists.
Look,
for
they're
sure.
totally fascist.
And the only other thing I would add is that I'd want the cutscenes, the protagonist has to wear roller skates.
There you go.
Why?
That's it. just to add a little bit to that whole Miami bass electro sort of sound.
There it is. There it is. It was like,
You know, just to kind of bring it around.
okay.
You know, I mean, it's one of those things where, you know, back in New York, you know, there was that whole New York freestyle movement, which was very similar to the Miami bass sound. And, you know, there's still a little bit of that kind of street
Okay.
sort of
Dig it.
vibe. in
Level
what we
could
do.
be in, you could have a Miami level, St. Louis
Yeah.
level. You know,
There you
Yeah.
go.
gotta fly through the arch. Like, I know it's cheesy, but like you gotta. And, like,
You
so-
got to,
Yeah.
right? You
Uh,
got to.
Right. Like in Boston, like, okay, hey, accent, and then, you know, all right, it's like, let's get some stuff done. Super good. Okay, we're gonna stay in weirdo hypothetical world here because that's what we like to do on Space Couch. So, 4 of your musical influences have gotten together and decided to rob a bank. I need to know which of those 4 is like the high tech guy, like the camera hacker, like New School. Who's the getaway car driver? Who's like the face man, smooth operator, like talks to the bank teller guy? And who's like the old school, like safe cracker, you know, with the striped shirt and like the bag with the money symbol on it, but like uses the stethoscope to crack this, like the old school one. So New School, getaway car, smooth operator, old school.
All right, let's see.
Go for it.
Okay, I would say, wow. I mean, as far as New School hacker types, I could already think of a few off of my head. You know, we were talking about Carl from Angel Spit.
Love it.
You know, there's also Daniel from Aesthetic Perfection and Stephen Archer.
Okay,
You
so
know,
those
in the
3
fact-
guys get together to hack all the cameras.
I mean, the thing
Yeah.
is that every time that I see their setups from their studio, now maybe not so much Daniel, but I'll get to him in a moment. But with at least with Carl Zug, if you will, or is it Zog? I'm not sure. And Steven,
Whatever you
it's
feel
like
in your
they
heart.
have these giant studio setups with wires everywhere and
right.
patches in all different places, and that to me just screams like Hacker Man from
Yes.
Kung Fury, if you remember that.
I dressed
you know,
up with him for Halloween.
The thing
one
I
year.
like about Madison, you want to?
Oh no, I was just gonna say like maybe hacking the cameras is kind of like hooking up modular synths. Just, like,
Yes.
moving around wires,
Mhm.
twisting
Yeah.
stuff.
Okay. You know, no, that's good. That's good. Zug is totally the camera hacker. So like, all right, all the cameras are like they're modulated. They're on LFOs. It's madness, right? He can control the
Right.
cut rate of a camera
Right.
somehow. Who's driving the getaway car of your
I would
musical
say
influences?
for me,
Yeah.
it would be Perturbator
Okay, love it.
because I feel like he would pull up in like a 1980s Ferrari
Oh yeah.
with like neons underneath, and
Right.
that's the way to go.
Everyone's like, "Where's all this dry ice coming from?" I don't see any, but there's just dry ice everywhere.
And there's something about Perturbator, Carpenter Brute, Ghost that at least those first albums that they all came out with just make you want to drive fast.
Yes. Oh,
so-
that's such a plus on the Ghost reference, but yes, no, that's that dig it, just that synth wave or whatever you want to sound. Just is like,
Yeah.
Yep.
yeah, you know what? Like, get in the fast lane. This rocks. Like, such a good call. I love it. I love it. Okay. Who's like the face man?
We have a
Yeah.
twist on this one.
All right.
Yeah, so we're gonna kind of go a deep cut on this one. We would say Lady Miss Kier from Delight
Okay.
because we feel like she, with her looks and her smoothness, she can get into anywhere.
Oh
There's no problem.
yeah, love it. Delight. What a great.
One of the greatest
Yeah.
concerts I have ever seen.
You almost
Honestly.
wouldn't need anybody else. Could you know, like I want to see your banknotes. Give them to me. And like, all right, sweet. Like, okay, all right, good Good call. We have one more. Who is the old school safecracker?
Vinny?
Okay. I would go with Eskil from the band Covenant.
Okay. Why?
Well, I mean, number one, with that sort of the shaved head that he has, with the kind of glasses that he's
Right.
got, he's got that kind of almost like a burglar, but
Oh yeah. Okay.
complete with the striped shirt and everything
Yeah.
and the dollar
Good
sign.
call.
But I would say, because if there's anyone who I feel, as far as the stuff that I listen to now, that really kind of delves into the work of machines and can crack a safe, it would probably be him. Because if I remember correctly, I think, now don't quote me on this one, but
Right.
I think his most recent album, he's actually gone down into various different mining shafts to acquire sounds for his next album.
What?
You can't get more metal than actual metal.
That's cool. I mean, the answer is great. This is one of the best answers of the bank question we've ever had on Space Couch by a country mile. But I didn't know he was doing like metalocalypse shit. Like, that's
Well,
crazy.
I don't mean metal in the Jub Brother
No, I
Buggers
get it, but
stuff.
like just in that first
mean-
episode, they like record the blackest album at the bottom of the ocean. or whatever.
Right.
Good
Good old shrapnel they're working with.
But I
And-
didn't know that the man with the greatest cheekbones in industrial was going into
I know,
mine
right? Yeah.
mine
When
shaft.
when I met him, I remember I asked him if I could do a selfie with him, and got out my camera, and I was doing about like 6 or 8 different shots, and they were all turning so bad because here he was looking real stout, stoic, and me, I've just got this grin on my face like, this over here.
Oh, that's hilarious.
And he is the guy who told me, never smile in your selfies. And so you'll find, if you go to Instagram, you're
Interesting.
going to find that there is a very dour-looking Vinny right next to a very dour-looking Eskil.
I'm just excited. I have a similar story, and I'll keep it brief because I think I've told it on here before. But billions of years ago, we opened for them in the sprawling metropolis of Racine, Wisconsin, and the promoter's like, "I can't pay you, but you can drink all you want all night." And I was like, "Done." And I still drank at the time, and the venue was attached to a bowling alley. So like at the end of the night, there's this shot of like a skill bowling, like perfect, like the human machine, just like this precision, like Swedish, just work of surgery, and then in the picture in the next lane over, like I'm like, when giraffes try to drink, they're all knock-kneed and like barely standing. It's like the bowling equivalent of your selfie picture. So yes, this bank, wherever it may be, on the globe or in space, stands nary a chance against the team which you have herein concocted. Speaking of methodologies, is there any gear or VSTs or whatever mine shafts that you're particularly enjoying right now?
Well, let's see. I'm primarily a propeller head Reason.
Okay.
I should say a Reason Studios Reason person. I guess the few things that kind of convinced me that way is that few chats with Stephen Archer when he would come by and perform as either Ego Likeness or Stoneburner over at the Crack Fox.
Mm-hmm.
And just knowing that he came from that DAW, if I remember correctly. And then the fact that they allow VSTs in there, which means that I could grab my Slate digital backstage pass and put that in there. Because I tell you, compressors and EQs, they don't sound as crazy as what you could do with a reverb or a delay. Like, ooh, check out what my voice can do. But let me tell you, when it comes to the final mix down, you want to have those compressors
Oh, yeah.
and those EQs in there. So, those are my big things. And then also, I love the fact that Softtube has that Kerry King Slayer guitar modeler. So that this way, I can plug my Dean right into my sound box, and then I can pull up a Marshall with
Oh,
the
cool.
various Celestion speakers and everything like that, and I don't even have to worry about having to carry a 4x12 cabinet where I go. So
Oh, that's cool. That's cool.
yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can.
And then
Well, look into Slayer guitar.
synthesizer wise, I'd also say Serum, because
Okay.
after all, you have to.
I
A lot of
don't. I keep hearing people love this Serum though.
the main reason being is that a lot of the sounds that you hear today just have this certain kind of shrill tone to them
Hmm.
that, and I say shrill in a good way, because look at the kind of music we do.
Hmm.
Shrill is definitely a component of it,
Hmm.
where,
It's my
a lot of
bread
other
and butter.
synthesizers, they would give you, here's your triangle wave, here's your square wave, and then you could use the filters to shape accordingly. Well, there, they could do a lot of wave shaping without necessarily even touching the filter.
Okay.
So that gives you a whole palette of stuff to
Yeah.
work with.
Get in there with
That,
your knuckles.
yeah, you don't even have to worry about even, you already got a great sound before you even hit the filter.
Cool. All right. Yeah. I'll check it out. It's just it's such a mental hurdle to be like, oh, new DAW.
Right.
I'm scared. I'm freaking out, and I gotta be at work in an hour. So let's just like make it go beep, and then But all right. So lots of good stuff. I didn't know Serum could do that. The just down and dirty
Mhm.
sort of wave manipulation. That's very exciting. I've always used
Oh, yeah.
various VSTs to sort of achieve that end, but never really gone in there and cut it up. Uh,
There's even a friend of ours by the name of Greg, who's a local musician around here. When he was first showing us patches that he made with Serum,
mhm.
you could actually see little Pokemon characters in the graphic waveform there, because you could take a graphic image and you could place that
Oh,
in,
that's
and
always
all of a
fun.
sudden that graphic image is your new waveform to work with.
Yeah.
Right, and I guess Pikachu makes a fart noise or whatever.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Yes, most of them do make fart noises.
Well,
But
you could probably get a lot of mileage out of even just a fart noise. Pitch it
oh
down,
yeah.
you get so with all this fart noise talk, not all segues work. People, check it out. If giant monsters on the horizon was not necessarily giant monsters, although maybe, what animal would you be? We'll go full Barbara Walters on this.
Vinny brought this up in a conversation earlier, but he said maybe an electric eel,
Yeah.
and I said maybe an electro eel. So
Because
I love
let's
it.
face it, an electric eel, it stuns its enemies and it creates power simply by muscular contractions.
That was nice. And then
You
and
know.
what
then
we
the
do.
electro eel does that with a 42
Yes.
minute set at the
Yes.
end of the night. Nice,
Perfect.
nice.
Because I
Depending-
mean, the music just, the main thing is I just want to get people's asses shaken.
yeah, it is nice. Like when you, I don't know, hear your own track on a dance floor or something, and then you see people enjoying it, you're like, oh, it works. It works.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we were back in Florida for a bit doing a show down in Tampa, we went to the castle and one of our tracks was played there,
Oh,
and
nice.
people were dancing to it, and it was just like such a feeling.
That's
Such a feeling.
amazing.
So
And what was kind of funny there was that, granted, we love the goth subculture and such. Sometimes, and I don't know what it was that was there this one in particular night. And Madison, if you remember this, they had one guy who was actually walking around in a full Tyrannosaurus getup or a
That was weird,
Velociraptor
right?
costume, and they had another guy who was in full Civil War outfit.
Yeah. It was
And
like
'Cause,
some
you know.
lost time travelers found their way to Tampa on a
Yeah,
Saturday night.
I mean, you can't have a Civil War guy without a giant Tyrannosaurus. That's just science.
That's
but-
science.
we just technically headlined Dragon Con, which was nuts because it's like, all right, we're playing with a Pope Sinestro, Moon Knight, 3,000 Lokis, and a Velociraptor.
Yeah.
Welcome to Atlanta. Like that was a fun show.
That's awesome.
No, Civil War reenactors there. That would have been the other side. But the still pretty awesome. I've never been to Tampa, or at least played there. That sounds cool.
One of my favorite towns.
Nice.
Yeah.
We'll check it out. We did Gainesville on that tour we were talking about before. That was a mosh pit. That was the craziest. Like, I mean, after the show was well attended enough, but like, I don't know if it was the first nice night or what, but we went out into the streets like, what the hell? But yeah, the school function. I don't know. That's my memory of Gainesville. But we'll get to Tampa.
I'll put it this way: St. Louis here, a band like V&B Nation can play to about what do you say, about 300 people, somewhere around
Sure.
there.
Sure.
But down in Tampa, Florida, can play to 1,500 people, no problem.
No, well,
There's just something about what's that old phrase? Being in the shadow of the mouse. that kind of causes a lot of more spooky stuff to happen there.
interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we will check out Tampa en route, by way of St. Louis, and follow the giant monsters of the horizon path in reverse and our tricked out R-type plane with the Crack Fox logo on the remix wings, bringing it all together. So we had we had those 3 awesome new singles this year. Does that indicate a direction for what might come next musically for Giant Monsters on the Horizon, or are you doing something totally different? What's next for the mighty Giant Monsters?
I would say right now, if we were to stop writing songs and continue with this model of a one song a month, we'd still have enough for about 2.5, 3 years.
You got that much in the clip that
We
you're
have
feeling.
so many that are in the clip right now. We've done a soundtrack for an
Okay.
independent film
That's
here in
awesome.
St. Louis. Yeah, and it's I can give you the one sentence elevator pitch there.
Great.
That it's basically a film all about the PTSD like symptoms of time travel.
Kick ass. It would mess you up.
It would.
Yeah.
It would. So that's we've done a great soundtrack there because I think it was a wonderful film.
Okay.
We even got to be a little bit of a cowboy clown rodeo sort of stuff going on that we stretched in a lot of different directions.
Well, I'm glad you brought it up because I wanted to sort of toss it in because you have, I'll use a phrase I already used, an insane amount of range. Like you'll do some cyberpunk hunter killer thing, and then really some called Say Their Names, pretty charged statement
Sure.
these days.
Sure.
Do you have an emotional sort of well from which you draw, or is it that freedom of the
Well-
single? Go on.
I think so. Vinny and I are very empathetic to all types of people, and I mean all of our friends and all the people that struggle. We try to be as charitable as possible. Empathy is such an important thing, and we need to we pull from all of these things because we try not to shy away from any sort of like charged subjects because I mean we feel like we're on the side of empathy, and if people are not cool with that, then they can go fuck themselves.
So you
And if I may, if I
Please.
may
Talk about
interject here, because it's kind of interesting that you hit both with Hunter Killer and with Say Their Names. And the main reason being is that Hunter Killer, when we first wrote the lyrics to that, it was all about the idea of doing so many disastrous things to our environment that eventually the planet became no longer habitable, and it was time to find a new planet out
Okay.
there in the stars.
all about that.
And that's, if you listen to the lyrics, maybe not so much the name Hunter Killer, but when we're trying to figure out different titles. But the song Say Their Names was actually kind of in reverse, because there I was thinking about the Fukushima power plant and the tsunami that hit Japan some years ago,
Sure.
and how there used to be tablets that were in ancient Japanese writing said, "Do not build below this line because of the tsunamis." And the fact is, we completely ignored those messages from the past.
What? I didn't know that. That's
Yeah.
gnarly. Wow. That's some act one of a movie. Like, we find the ancient tablet that says, like, you know, don't open the box, or you know, don't unseal the portal, or don't build below
then
this line.
And then they unseal the portal, and here come the giant monsters on the horizon. You know?
Exactly.
Bing!
Now
That-
you're getting it. Now you're getting it, because originally, yeah, I'll say, Madison and I, we had a love for kaiju and for Neon Genesis Evangelion, things like that. But the giant monsters on the horizon is more of the evil that happens when we not only ignore things that should give us warning, but also sometimes blatantly knock down those things. Matter of fact, there was I don't know, you know, of course nobody knows about those tablets a little bit north of Atlanta, Georgia, that talk about you know,
Guide stones.
the guide stones for
Yeah.
they're written in so many different languages to say, keep the population below this number, do this, you know, make sure that these things don't happen. And it's like just these rules for living that could keep the human race, if we followed it, to a good even keel as we go through. But of course, you know, there are people who are intending to just destroy and smash those guide stones. Matter of fact, I think there was a news story recently about those guide stones being smashed.
Wow.
And it just,
Well, I think they got graffitied or something.
yeah.
Yeah, whatever.
Wow. That's because they don't want this knowledge getting out there. That's how my movie would go. But
Oh, no. It's not because they want this knowledge. They find it because it's it's direct in accordance with Satan's rules. And that's,
wow.
don't,
Okay, so
don't let me get beyond
it
with
is,
religion and politics and all that crap.
well, what I'm taking away is it's not. I go to Giant Monsters in your band name because I'm a giant nerd, and I'm like, yeah, okay.
As are we.
Like, let's talk Biollante. Let's get some Hedora up in here. But it's almost more about the horizon, the looming, and the portentous topics explored. Perhaps don't let me put words in your mouth, in the wonderful audio of our guest tonight, or today as you see this. That was such an amazing offering. I sort of want to close out on that. I'm going to send our audience to Giant Monsters on the Horizon.bandcamp.com. Anything else? Is that where you want people to go, or like you iTunes guys? Okay.
Yeah. And all of our music is free on there.
Look at that, or listen to that.
Yeah, all of
look
our
at it too,
albums,
'cause
all of our
that's great.
singles are free. Pay what you want. You don't have to pay anything. I would hate for $1 to stand in the way of someone listening to us.
That's
know?
a great philosophy. No, I love that philosophy. So not only do they have a ton of music, it's name your price. That could include non-zero months too. I'm just saying, they just gave you an hour of their time. So check out from St. Louis, Giant Monsters on the Horizon. This is Brian for Space Couch, for Vinny, for Madison, for Giant Monsters on the Horizon, saying, call the spaceships to Davenport, prepare for divanarchy, and interface with a couch in space. This is Space Couch out. Thanks so much, guys.
Thanks so much.
We're just going
Thank
to
you.
do the outro here. I don't know if you can hear me in the outro credits. We'll try it out. Space Couch, bye. Can you still hear the dulcet tones of my voice? Kind of.
Sort of chopping in and out.
Yeah, I got to fix that. I don't know what's going on there, but...
It's like a noise gate.
Ha! Yes. I
Some
want
kind
to
of
run
noise
for...
gate or something.
I want to get taken in a political scandal just so we can call it Noisegate. But these are the Patreon contributors. Get your name in that Patreon by going to patreon.com/gothsicles. And